Good morning everyone, Tater here and welcome to Tater Games. Today we're actually going to be talking about the differences between learning and when you should actually start publishing. So, let's do it. So we have a lot of beginners out there and they're all asking similar questions, when should I actually end up publishing a game? At what point? At what stage? But we're actually going to discuss that today in depth. Firstly, one of the main reasons why people actually get into game development is that they see a game that they like and they want to remake it or make something very similar to it. For example, League of Legends is a perfect example actually, because there are 2,000 of you out there who subscribed before I actually started making other content who is only here for my MOBA tutorial series. And to all of them, they probably wanted to start making a MOBA because they played League of Legends, Dota, Heroes of New Earth, or one of those games, and they want to make their own little version of it. And believe me when I say that is 100% the only reason why I know programming today is because I actually wanted to make a game. So the start of your career is always trying to make this one game, and it's the best way for you to learn. You can't just sit there and read through books and stuff like that. You have to get in there and actually do it. So anyone who tells you otherwise is a bloody liar. It's one of the coolest feelings being motivated to actually make a game for the first time, and the biggest motivation for me was actually playing games, of course, and then you go into the whole learning C# programming through the fact that you found Unity when you typed in how to make a game. For a lot of people out there, it is actually a really big problem that they think that they can make a certain game and then they think that they can sell it at such an early stage, early access and all of that type of stuff. But I'm not going to discourage you from doing that. I do believe that feedback is one of the most important things you can get. If your game sucks, let people say to you that that game sucks. Don't just sit there and assume things. You may like certain things, but of course there are a lot of people out there who do not like it, and take negative feedback is actually a good thing. If somebody's really angry, they couldn't get past the level, it was too difficult, it was too hard and stuff like that, then, embrace that. That is the type of things that makes you learn. So to make levels kind of easier, they're going to stop playing if they don't. Or maybe he says, if you don't fix this, I'm just going to hack it. Then he's really dedicated into the game, which is an incredible thing because you can actually use that anger as a marketing, technique, I believe is the word. Marketing technique. Think of games that are actually really frustrating to play. They're actually kind of addictive because they are frustrating to play. So, all that type of feedback and stuff you need to actually grow as a developer and see what is next in line for you. I know. A lot of people actually complain about this, that there are too many bad games, learner games like this that are actually filling up places like Steam and there's heaps of distribution platforms out there. But you got to think of it this way, is that there are places where you can publish your stuff and actually get great feedback from. For example, my Discord server. You really shouldn't be marketing this, Tater. So the link for that one should be in the description below. Go there if you guys want to post in work in progress, and you can get some feedback from all the other developers that are on our server, and I think we just hit 1.2k. Stop the marketing. Anyway, back on track. There are places around that you can publish your stuff and actually get decent feedback for it, and especially if you're learning, you kind of want feedback so that you know the next step that you need to take. This does, however, differ for different people. For example, if you are working in a team and you are still learning, then it kind of is different for you because you have other people that are also there to carry you in different sort of aspects of the game. Let's say you were programming, you should really just be focusing on the programming side, and no doubt if you are in a team, you must have a little bit of experience there backing you. However, if you are an individual developer, and I mean this as one person developing an entire game, then you kind of need to think a little bit differently. When you are doing this, you are looking at so many aspects that you need to learn that all of them need to be at a decent standard in order for you to publish. However, in saying that, you can be worse at other things and sort of better in other areas and still publish. For example, when I publish games, my graphics just suck. When it comes to 3D modeling and 2D art and all of that type of stuff, it's something that I struggle with because I'm just not sort of built to be an artist. It's not that certain things can hold you back, there are just certain elements that need to be refined enough to sort of pass. There are also great ways around it. For example, some games can rely purely on artwork, some games can rely purely on gameplay, and there are things out there made for you. So when we ask ourselves the question, when should we actually be publishing games? Well, it all depends on the type of project that you are actually making. Plus, when you publish, whilst you're sort of learning still, you're actually getting feedback, and you'll tell once that feedback starts getting better and better. Instead of saying things like, you need to work on this, you need to work on this, they're going to start saying things like, could you please update this, or could you please change this? It starts becoming more about the game rather than about you. If you release a game and people are commenting on you doing something, then that means that it is not ready to be sold, it is not ready to be published. You're still getting that feedback that you need though. Just a bit of insight from my personal experience. Of course, this changes across the board depending on what age you are, depending on what you're good at, and it's different for everyone. You might just be starting out and you could publish a game in like 3 weeks if you're good enough in one area. Wouldn't really recommend it, but you know, you have to publish and get that feedback until you're at a point where you should be publishing. When I say publishing, I kind of mean like selling the game. You'll know the point where you should actually sell the game. One of the things that always got me was people complaining, you know, you're trying to make a game that's too hard for you. You're trying to make a MOBA. MOBAs are extremely difficult, okay? I learned that the hard way. However, during that path, I learned so much. Now, this is the thing about it. The reason why I learned so much was because I knew what I wanted to create. It was right there in front of me. It was, you know, it was reachable, but never achievable. And the point is that I spent so long trying to make this one game. When I finally decided to give up, I actually had all this knowledge that I learned making this game. So for you guys out there, it's, you know, it's similar to school. When you go to school, you don't know why you're going to school until you're a little bit older, you know, until you leave school actually. And during that entire process, it's kind of a tedious thing where you're like, I don't want to be at school. And I mean, this is only for some people, but you know, you go, I don't want to be at school. I don't know why I'm here. La-di-da-di-da. It makes your learning ineffective sort of, and you don't really go there to learn a lot. You're kind of just there because people tell you to be there. Having a motivation like, I want to make a specific game and I really want to make this, I have this idea that I want to create, it's big motivation. You'll learn just because, you know, you have that sort of drive. So it's a very powerful thing wanting to make something that is quite hard. It's actually a very powerful learning tool, and I would recommend that you guys do aim high. I would recommend that you guys try and make something really big in order to try and learn. Anyway, that's enough of me. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit, and hopefully you guys are inspired to continue your projects, and don't ever give up on that type of stuff, because it is very important that you learn that type of stuff. But I'm going to go and have myself a very productive day, going to work on some music, and hopefully you guys have a productive day too. I'll see you tomorrow where we continue our C# sort of talking sessions. I'll see you then.